As the calendar turns into a new year, discussions about upcoming trends and predictions flood the industry and all your feeds, as I'm sure you've noticed. Yet, this forecast only hold value if they lead to meaningful progress. The true measure of success isn't in adopting buzzworthy ideas, but in driving impactful changes, whether that means engaging audiences more deeply, advancing business objectives, or creating transformative event experiences. Many so-called trends in the event industry have been recycled honestly year after year. AI, however, stands apart not necessarily as a passing fad, but as a powerful tool reshaping how we work. Similarly, innovative networking strategies go beyond fleeting trends. They create authentic connections that will endure. And as for sticky content, it's not just a trendy phase, it's a thoughtful approach to crafting engagement that really resonates. So let's stop calling this trend and start focusing on what truly moves us forward. And with that, let's jump right in today's episode, the first episode of 2025.
Welcome to the Events Demystified podcast, where we demystify the world of in-person, virtual, and hybrid events, AV production, and AI technology by sharing practical tips, tricks, and strategies to help your event succeed. This podcast is brought to you by Tree-Fan Events, a woman-owned boutique event production agency that caters to event professionals, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. We specialize in AV and AI education, integration, automation, and implementation, all based on our Fit for Events framework, which focuses on futuristic AV production, innovative AI technology, thriving audiences, and empowering behind-the-scenes teams. And I'm your host, Anca Platon Trifan, with over 2 decades of hands-on experience in event production, event management, and now AI technologies and cybersecurity.
Welcome back to the EventsDemystified podcast. I'm your host, Anca Platon Trifan, and I'm super excited to kick off 2025 with one of my favorite topics, trends and predictions for the meetings and event industry. Now, you might notice that my voice sounds a little seasoned today. Let's just say that I party a little too hard saying goodbye to 2024. But don't worry, because I'm here to bring you some exciting insights, rasp and all. And today, we'll explore how technology, especially AI, is reshaping the way we plan and execute events while keeping the focus where it really matters most, the people. As we demystify this topic, it's important to recognize that technology is not an end in itself, but a means to elevate the event experience, whether it's streamlining logistics or creating tailored interactions or enhancing audience engagement. The goal is always to serve the needs of the people involved. To start, we'll examine one of the most transformative aspects of AI in events, and that probably will become the buzzword of 2025, personalization. This isn't just about delivering a tailored experience, it's about making every attendee feel uniquely valued and understood. All right, so let's start with personalization. AI tools that are embedded in advanced technology platforms, one of which is Cvent's latest features, are taking personalization to an entire new level in 2025. Gone are the days when customization was limited to maybe just attendee registration or just receiving a generic agenda or itinerary for the event. Now, the systems use AI to get into the attendee data and attendee preferences, analyze past behaviors, and then align this insight with their stated goals to create bespoke smart agendas and experiences. This approach ensures that each participant will experience not only something that is relevant for them, but also deeply engaging. But here's the real game changer. Personalization isn't just about offering convenience, it's about making attendees feel seen, valued, and recognize that that event has been tailored to their needs, to their sense of belonging, and engagement will skyrocket if that is the approach that we take with our events in 2025. This isn't just an enhancement, it's really a transformation in how we approach audience interaction and how we approach event planning. And as event professionals, isn't this really our ultimate goal, right? To create spaces where attendees aren't just participants, but active, empowered contributors to the event success. Personalization through AI will enable us to then bridge the gap in ways that were maybe just imaginable before, but now are possible. As I've seen this firsthand on a recent event, I can tell you that it will really help guide us into something that is next level. Imagine as you're guiding someone to a session that they didn't even know they would love, or they would connect with someone that it wasn't even on their radar. That is the type of opportunity that I'm talking about here. And personally, I've made so many new industry friends and connections just by using this feature alone. And I hope that you'll try it for your events and see what it can do, not only to enhance networking opportunities, but connection, belonging, and engagement. And speaking of connections, let's talk about networking. AI driven matchmaking is changing how we connect, and it's kind of been something that we delve into since 2020 when we started with virtual events. And we needed to figure out a better way for people to connect, especially online, virtually on some kind of a digital platform. And now with AI, that's making this entire process smarter, whether you're trying to connect people virtually or in person. You can think about this in this example that came to mind. Before you even walk into this event, you would have a process, an intelligent system that has already identified the people who share your goals, work within your industry, align with your interest. And by the time you meet those people, you're not starting from scratch. You're driving straight into meaningful conversation without wasting time or without spending on just that first level of getting to know someone. Now, this isn't just beneficial for attendees, exhibitors especially can experience this as well when AI tools will be able to identify and engage with the attendees most likely, which then will drive not only a higher ROI, but also value to the attendees from the exhibitor offerings. Many times you walk into a booth and you don't even know what you're looking for. You don't even know if that product or offering is for you. But with this type of targeted networking opportunities and matchmaking, you maximize the ROI, not just for exhibitors, while creating opportunities for attendees to explore the products and services that truly align with their needs. It's really an ecosystem that can be formed of efficiency and meaningful engagement. And that is what reshaping the networking experience really looks like. And I hope we'll take more advantage of that in 2025. Because by leveraging AI in this way, we're moving beyond the randomness of traditional networking and creating spaces where every interaction then has the potential to be more impactful. Networking becomes less about chance and more about purpose, a dynamic that really benefits everyone that's involved. And talking about that, I love to hear from you. Like, have you experienced anything of this type of AI-driven matchmaking? I love to hear in the comments, or if you're on social, hit me up. I'm gathering a lot of information on this because I would like to make a case study of how AI matchmaking is really changing our events in 2025. And again, I apologize for my voice. Definitely does not sound like me. I've been struggling with this head cold that's been taking over my life for the last 2 weeks. And it's been really hard to focus on anything. So if I need to take more breaks, just know that I am doing my best to make it through this episode without having to chop it really hard. Now, let's move into the next segment, which is registration, because this is often the first touch point of any event, and it really sets the tone for the entire attendee experience. And I'll be honest with you, while AI chatbots have become increasingly popular for handling frequently asked questions, guiding attendees through the registration process as well, and maybe even sending personalized invitations, they do come with limitations that are hard to ignore. I personally find AI chatbots to feel a little impersonal, especially when attendees encounter unique questions or concern that demand a more nuanced response. Over reliance on this type of tools, it really risks alienating your participants instead of helping. So make sure that you find the balance to make your attendees feel like they're interacting with a human versus a machine, someone that really cares and values their presence and their preferences versus an AI that is being programmed to respond to a certain prompt. What truly makes a difference here is striking that perfect balance, because technology should serve as an enabler, not a replacement for human interaction. A hybrid approach, maybe, where chatbots can handle some straightforward tasks, but then you have your human behind the keyboard or behind the phone that is readily available for more personalized support, that will make your attendees feel both supported and valued. And this approach not only will build trust, but also sets the stage for a positive event experience that technology alone cannot achieve. Data is no longer just about tracking metrics. It's about providing the value and the ROI of meetings and events. There's a lot of tools out there that empower event and meeting professionals to turn those raw numbers into actionable strategies by identifying trends, measuring engagement, and pinpointing areas for improvement. But beyond operational insight, data is becoming a critical asset for integrating events into the broader marketing and sales tech stack, a top priority for many organizations. During recent industry conversations, clients have shared that while integrating event data with marketing and CRM systems presents challenges, including expense, system ownership, and data integrity, it is seen as essential for future success. This integration really allows organizations to connect event outcomes with business goals, such as lead generation, customer retention, revenue impact. And the earlier this technology is implemented into the planning cycle, into the planning process, the smoother and more aligned the event becomes then with those broader business strategies. Great technology doesn't just measure success, it really amplifies it, because in the end, it's not just about the metrics, it's about the momentum they create. Now, let's touch on something that's dear to my heart because I spent a great number of years in this niche. The future of AV lies not only in delivering exceptional experiences, but also in streamlining the process of planning and execution. Emerging tools like, for example, the AV production custom GPT that I have created and made available for anyone to use for free as long as you have the OpenAI ChatGPT Plus account, it's really redefining how planners and AV providers collaborate. This AI powered tools enhance the RFP, request for proposal process, and it really helps planners to communicate their event needs with precision and efficiency. For example, it can automate clarity. Instead of manually detailing every AV requirement, planners can use the GPT to input event details, and then the AI generates a comprehensive technical spec tailored to the event's vision. And once you have an understanding of what that is, then you can take it to your AV provider and say, this is what I'm looking for. Can you provide something similar? Or can we start from this baseline and build from there? Another way those AI tools can help is by streamlining vendor comparisons. For example, I would use my GPT to break down proposals and then compare technical capabilities, cost, and timelines in a clear and digestible format, which is great for someone that doesn't necessarily speak the AV lingo. So you wouldn't necessarily understand what all the equipment means, and you don't know if you're even comparing apple to apples. Another way you can use a custom AV production GPT is by filling in the knowledge gaps. Now, planners don't necessarily all have the same level of understanding when it comes to AV production. So, this is a great tool to use, especially if you're not familiar with technical jargon and you don't know for sure if some important detail is being overlooked, or even gives you the ability to feel confident when you are addressing an AV production team member, or maybe you're collaborating, your AV partner. So it sounds like you have an understanding of what they're talking about versus it feels like you both speak two different languages. Beyond RFPs, AI tools are also great at enhancing on-site management with features like live schedule optimization, audience engagement, ideas, and tracking. Those are just a few of the innovations that will save time and will allow planners to focus on creativity and execution rather on trying to figure out the logistical details that take so much of the time. And let me share a powerful case study here about growing through AI implementation via a personalized custom GPT. I was having a conversation recently with the VP of programming at South by Southwest, and he shared with me how in the past they used to take about 2 to 3 months past each one of their yearly events to go through their surveys, post-event surveys. And because their team was pretty small, 4 or 5 people, they would all take this time, block on their calendar, and look at the surveys, label them, categorize them based on key takeaways and actionable steps. But then about 2 years ago, they had an intern, and the intern was a data analyst, and they asked him, is there a way in which we can use some of those AI chatbots that are coming on the market to automate some of this process? And the kid was like, of course there is. Let me look into this. I'll figure it out. So what he did actually is something that I did for my own podcast. He created a custom private GPT that would automate the process of taking all those intake forms and then label them, categorize them, and then provide key takeaways and action items for each one of them into a nice report that now the team was able to look at it, analyze, and act upon. So what would have taken in the past 3 to 4 months now would take them about a week or two to be able to take all those action items and implement them. And the exciting part about all of this is not just about saving the time, right? It's about what do you do with this time that now you've gained. Now, they have more time to spend not on other manual processes, but instead on creating better experiences, better activations, better opportunities for their attendees, because they don't have to spend the time anymore on just going through each one of those surveys one by one manually. So this is the type of innovation that not only saves time, but it allows you as the event planner, event manager, to now focus on other important strategic task, to focus on creativity and execution rather than just logistical details. These technologies aren't just tools, they're really the transformative enablers that will let you dream bigger and execute smarter. And I hope that you find for your own workflow what works for you and take advantage of those tools. And talking about AV production tools, over the past decade, the AV production landscape has really evolved in leaps and bounds. We moved from relying solely on hardware intensive setups to embracing smarter, more efficient workflows. And as the event demands for the production and technology behind it to continuously grow, think about the type of hybrid formats and the type of audiences that now you can reach, but also think about the tighter budgets, which has forced the AV technology to adapt. And this is where I've seen the emergence of AV over IP, a game changer in 2024. And I believe it's going to grow even more in 2025. It's a technology that is changing the way we look at the AV analog workflow. And it's creating more engaging event experiences, because it's not just about staying current, it's about redefining how we approach event production from the ground up. Here's why AV over IP is worth your attention. It provides you with a lot of flexibility. AV over IP replaces physical hardware routing with software-based configurations. So imagine updating a multi-view display tailored to a client's needs within a minute, no more needing to reroute cables or trying to look for spare outputs on a router or on a video switcher. It's about really delivering precision without all the headache. There's also the power of the seamless integration of remote presenters. Hybrid events are still here to stay. I know that we've moved to more in person, but we have to learn our lessons and always be ready for a hybrid setup. AV over IP makes it so easy to bring in virtual speakers when you're juggling complex setups like bilingual presentations. The ease of integration is really unmatched. There's also resilience that's built within the system, especially if you think about things crashing out of no reason mid event. It has happened in the past. And this, in most cases, spells disaster. But with AV over IP, you can simply swap out the machine, you can reload your templates, you can carry on without skipping a heartbeat. And skipping a heartbeat behind the scenes in AV production, let me tell you, comes with a lot of stress and anxiety. So it's a safety net that will keep critical outputs like ISO recordings and live streams intact during any who knows what, a force majeure type of disaster. It also reduces the setup time. Remember when AV setups used to take an entire day, multiple days, longer? Well, if there's a way in which you can incorporate this new technology, then what once required hours can now be done in a fraction of the time. It is a time saver, and it will allow teams to then focus on doing more run throughs or maybe being more creative with their lighting and their setups and the stage design, all the things, rather than just having to run all the cables. AV over IP does not necessarily mean that you don't have to have stacks of speakers or run your line arrays or set up your LED screens or your projector screens or your lighting in the room, right? All of that is still necessary, but it does save time in routing and running cables. And instead of running 100 different runs of cables, you could just run several and be done with that. While AV over IP is the future, traditional baseband systems like SDI still have their place, and that's okay. Whether it's a last minute adjustment or a specialized output, having that option to combine the systems offers a versatility that you really need in this type of complex setups. So, all that to say, AV over IP isn't just a trend. I see it as a shift towards smarter, more resilient AV production. And as we integrate AI driven monitoring and diagnostics into this type of systems, that's when the possibilities for innovation grow exponentially. This isn't just about keeping up, it's about staying ahead in every aspect of our event, may that be planning, logistics, production, marketing, the entire event cycle. All right, let's talk about sustainability, which is a topic that's no longer a nice to have, but an essential pillar in event planning in 2025. Sustainability in events isn't just about reducing paper waste or eliminating plastic bottles. It's about creating a comprehensive approach that minimizes environmental impact while maximizing attendee engagement. For example, there's several tools out there. A Copia app allow planners to donate leftover food to local shelters, turning what would be waste into valuable resources for the community. There's plenty of carbon calculators like the Green View Hotel footprinting tool that enables planners to measure and offset the environmental footprint of their events. And again, these aren't just tools, they're really commitments to a better, more sustainable future. But it goes beyond technology, choosing venues that prioritize renewable energy, incorporating hybrid elements to reduce travel emissions, and working with vendors who share your values all contribute to a more responsible event ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, sustainability isn't just about what we save, it's about what we give back. And that brings me to wellness. Wellness is no longer an afterthought in event planning. It's a movement. The Fit for Events framework initiatives that we have launched beginning of 2024 was all about integrating physical, mental, emotional well being into every aspect of the event experience. Attendees aren't just participants, they're whole people. And addressing their wellness needs creates a more engaging and energized audience. Imagine incorporating different type of movement sessions, different modalities, body weight boot camps, push-up challenges, bear, Pilates, yoga, runs, or mindfulness breaks into your event schedule, offering protein, vegan, and animal based, along with other nutritious food options tailored not just to dietary preferences and restrictions, but to a person's macros, or creating spaces for quiet time and quiet reflection in the middle of a busy conference. These aren't extras. They're essentials that show your attendees that you value their health and their well being. And it's not just for attendees. Behind the scene teams and event professionals that work long hours, they also benefit from wellness and fitness initiatives. Long hours in high pressure environments take their toll, but small changes like having proper nutrition on site, being mindful of your emotional state, your mental state, your physical state, all of those contribute to the well-being of the people behind the scenes, providing them with breaks, providing them with lunch breaks. Let's start with that. How about we give them the opportunity to take a break during those 12-hour long days when they're going from session to session to session and through run through and run through. All of this we need to be more mindful of, because again, we're talking about a whole person. And as much as we care about our attendees, we also have to care about our behind the scenes teams and our planners and our producers. To me, after all, a healthy team is a successful team. That's where the Fit for Events movement has started, because it reminds us that events aren't just about logistics. They're about creating environments where people can thrive, connect, and feel their best. Let's make wellness a priority, not a perk. Let's become fit for events together, setting a new standard where wellness drives connection and success. And finally, let's not forget the core of our industry, the human connection. No matter how advanced our tools become, they can replace the power of a shared meal, a smile, a handshake, or a meaningful conversation. Human connection is the foundation of trust and collaboration. Think about it. When we share stories, when we laugh over a meal, when we bond during a challenging project or bodyweight boot camp, we create memories and partnerships that last well beyond that one event. These moments are what attendees take home with them. They don't remember the flashy tech or the perfectly executed transitions as much as they remember how the event made them feel. As event professionals, it's our job to design environments that foster these connections. That means balancing the efficiencies of technology with spaces and moments that encourage real interaction, whether it's creating intentional networking opportunities, designing small group activities, or simply allowing for unstructured time to connect. These efforts make a world of difference. In 2025, as we embrace technology and AI, let's use it to amplify, not overshadow these moments. The most successful events are the ones where attendees leave feeling connected, inspired, and valued. These connections are the true markers of a memorable and impactful event. All right, friends, that's it for today's episode of Events Demystified podcast. Thank you for tuning in as we explored the trends and predictions for 2025. If you really enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. And let's keep the conversation going on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on social, wherever it is where you would like to connect virtually. Until next time, remember, technology can enhance events, but it's the human touch that makes those events truly memorable.
Thank you for listening to the Events Demystified podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with other professionals like yourself. If you're interested in learning more about Tree-Fan events, including our future AI education talks and workshops, or to see how we can support your next event, book a free 20-minute consultation through the link in the episode notes. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and social media for updates on future episodes, industry insights, AI news and tips, and more. And if you have any topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to reach out.